See, go to the UiPath Studio. Go to the UiPath Studio. Click on the transaction process. Excel automation 4. Go to the left drive. Select that 7 p.m. batch. Click on that create. Click on that open main workflow. Remove this flowchart. Drag a sequence. Set as start node. See, so in Excel automation, till now we have discussed about Excel related activities. For example, if you want to write the data in that Excel file, just I have used that write cell activity. Okay, here in that write cell, we have two write cell activities. One is that Excel write cell, and another one is called as workbook write cell. Okay, see, if you want to read the data from Excel, just we can use that read cell activity. Here we have a Excel read cell and then workbook read cell. What is the difference between both Excel related activities and workbook related activities? Right now I will discuss about this one. After that I will continue. See, observe this one. What is the difference between Excel activities and workbook activities? Okay. See, observe this one. Excel and workbook activities, both are used to automate Excel. Okay. Okay. See, both Excel and workbook activities. So both are we are using for Excel automation. Okay. See, what is the main difference between both of them? Excel activities. Interview point of view, they will directly ask you what is the difference between Excel activities and workbook activities. Okay. See, observe this. See, if you want to automate with Excel, we must be use Excel application scope activity. Excel application scope activity. Okay. This Excel application scope the Excel application scope always open Excel file and read and write the data in Excel file. See, if you want to use Excel application, if you want to use Excel related activities, if you want to use Excel related activities, so the Excel application must be installed in that machine. Okay. See, that means MS Office must be installed in that machine. Okay. See, go to that workbook related activities. Workbook activities. Observe this one. In this Excel related activities, if we want to automate Excel, we must be use that Excel application scope activity. So see, in Excel automation, uh, we have frequently used that Excel application scope activity. So inside that Excel application scope only, we have used that read cell activity and write cell activity. Okay. So or read range activity and write range activity. Okay. So if you want to Excel, if you want to automate that Excel by using the Excel related activities, we must be use it Excel application scope. Okay. See, next one, the Excel application always, see, once if you use that Excel application scope, it always open that Excel file, then only it will be read and write the data. Okay. And finally, see, the MS Office already installed in your machine, then only, so the Excel related activities will be works. Otherwise, there is no possibility to use that Excel related activities. Okay. See, right now, workbook related activities. Without using Excel application scope. We can automate Excel file. Okay. Then without opening Excel application, it will be read and write the data in Excel file. Okay. And finally, without having Excel application in the machine, we can automate machine. Also, we can automate Excel. Okay. See, observe this one. See, in Excel activities, in last point, so if you want to use that Excel related activities, the Excel application must be installed in that machine. But once if you are using, that means MS Office must be installed. Okay. So okay, then see, if you use that, if you want to use that workbook related activities, this time, see, without having that without having the MS Office, that means MS Excel in that machine, so we can automate that Excel file. For example, so some client send that mail. In that mail, I have a .xlsx file. My bot successfully downloaded. Okay, my bot successfully downloaded the .xlsx file from mail itself. But in my machine, there is no there is no Excel application. That means there is no MS Office in my machine, but I have to automate that Excel file. Okay, so this time we have to use that workbook related activities, because the workbook related activities always it will be works with so file system. So that's why, that means, so whatever that file system is there, that means like so we know about the task. Okay, see, then that means uh, we are creating the files and then deleting the first, like we are doing something. Okay, so like here, so if you use that workbook related activities, okay, it is completely works with that file system. So that's why, so without opening that Excel file, and it is going to reading and writing the data, and without having that Excel in that machine, also it will be works. So that's why, so we are using that workbook related activities frequently. Okay, right now, see, interview point of view, they will directly ask you that what is the difference between so Excel activities and then workbook activities. Right now, I will show you. See, I will go to the project panel, go to the file explorer. In this file explorer, click on that new. Right now, Microsoft Excel worksheet. Say right now, I want to give them sample. Just I have created the sample file. Okay. Right now, I want to write simple message in that sample file by using write cell activity. See, observe this one. See, if I type that write cell activity, there are two activities. One is the Excel write cell and another one is workbook write cell. Right now, drag and drop that. So Excel write cell and drag and drop that workbook write cell. Okay, workbook write cell. See, See, observe this one. What is the difference between Excel Excel write cell and workbook write cell? See, Excel write cell activity having that sheet name and then value. Okay, but so workbook write cell activity it contains that workbook path. It contains that workbook path. Okay, and then sheet name and cell ID and then value. Okay, so value also we have to enter it here. See, observe this one. The right cell, workbook right cell activity, their properties, cell ID, sheet name, workbook path, and then password. But if you go to the right cell activity, Excel right cell activity, go to the properties. Here we have a so range and then sheet name and then value. That is enough. But this right cell activity always works within the Excel application scope. See, there is a validation. Here I have moved that my cursor on that validation. It is showing that. See, value, see, activity is valid. Activity is valid only inside Excel application scope. Okay. See, because the right cell activity is related to Excel related activity. So that's why without having that Excel application scope, there is no possibility to work out here. So right now, observe this one. I want to take Excel application scope, drag and drop. See, once if I move my cursor here, it is showing that the activity is valid only inside Excel application scope, right? Right now, click here, move it. Right now, value for a required activity argument text was not supplied. Previously, so the validation is, say this activity is valid only inside Excel application scope. After moving that one, so there is no such error, only value for a required activity. That is enough. Okay. See, if I move my right cell activity outside this Excel application scope, see, activity is valid only inside Excel application scope. See, observe this one. See, once if you use that Excel application scope, it will, so MS Office must be installed. Okay, MS Office must be installed in the machine, and then see, that means MS Excel must be installed in that machine. See, and this Excel application scope always open that file, and then only we can read the data and write the data. Finally, it will close it. Okay. See, right now I want to remove Excel application scope, and right now I want to remove this Excel right cell activity. See, while seeing this particular activity, so automatically we can identify the difference. So the workbook activity contains a path, but but so Excel related right cell don't have the path. Okay, right now remove this one. Select the sample file. Click on the open. Right now, sheet one. In sheet 1, I want to write data in A1 cell. See, right now, in A1 cell, I want to write the data is called as UiPath. Okay, UiPath. Just I want to write it. So right now, observe this. So by using that workbook write cell activity, I have written that simple message in sheet 1 in A1 cell. The same message I want to read from that Excel itself. This time, observe this. This time, see, read cell activity. Observe this one. Excel read cell and workbook read cell. Excel read cell and workbook read cell. Observe this one. See, observe the difference between both are the Excel read cell and workbook read cell. So Excel read cell contains the sheet one, name sheet one, and sheet name, and then cell ID. But workbook read cell, it contains that workbook path and sheet name and then cell ID. Okay. Right now, just I want to See, observe this one. This Excel read cell, it will be works only within the Excel application scope. See, observe the validation. Activity is valid only inside Excel application scope. Okay. Right now, I want to remove this one. I have deleted. See, I want to read the data from same Excel file from that from A1 cell itself. I want to read the data. See, by using the right cell activity, I have written that data in A1 cell. The same data I want to read from that same cell itself, from that same Excel file. Right now, in this read cell activity, go to their properties. In the properties, then you have to create that output property. The output property is called as string type. Okay, Control K and var string. Okay, observe this. Observe this one. Right now, I want to take that message box, drag the message box. See, just I want to display the message, var string. If it is, see, if the workbook write cell activity successfully written in this UiPath message in that A1 cell in sheet 1, so then, so successfully it will be read that data. Once if it is displayed, then it is success. Okay, observe this one. Click on the debug. UiPath. Directly, I want to execute it. Right now, I have debug, right? So click here, run this file. Observe this without opening that Excel file. So every day we have seen once if you use that Excel application scope, first it is opening that file, writing and reading the data. Right now, so without opening that file, it will be read and read and write the data. So click on the OK. So these are the say workbook write cell and read cell activities. Right now, go to the project panel. I want to change my I want to change my workflow file name. So right now, right click and then rename. Right now, I want to give the name is called as see workbook read cell and write cell. Okay. Right now, I want to show you that workbook read range and write range activities. Say I will go to that Excel so project panel and then I want to open my Excel file. I will go to the sheet 2 right now. Right now, SNO, S name, S total. So I have taken 10 rows of data in sheet 2 and by using that workbook read range activity, I will read it and then and after reading the data, just I want to write the data in sheet 3. Okay, right now in the sheet 3, no data, but in sheet 2, we have a data. bulk data I want to read by using that workbook read range, and then so bulk data I want to write it in that another sheet by using workbook write range activity. Right now, right now, see, observe this one. I want to drag a sequence, right click, set as start node. Right now, first of all, I want to read the data from the workbook itself. So that's why read range. There are two read range activities. One is that Excel read range. Another one is workbook read range. See, observe this one. The workbook read range is having that workbook path, but Excel read range don't have that path. Okay. So move your cursor in this validation. It is saying that activity is valid only inside Excel application scope. Okay. See, remove this Excel read range. I want to use that only workbook read range. So click here and then select that sample file and then click on the open. So right now sheet name is called as sheet 2. Okay, sheet 2. Here go to the properties. In this properties, just I want to remove. Okay. See, I don't know how many number of rows in that and in that Excel file, and how many number of columns I don't know. So that's why simply I have removed that. So a a range from that range property itself, and then simply I have given that only double quotes. Okay. So this time it will be read that entire the data from that sheet itself. See, the Excel data is in table format. So if you want to store that table formatted data, we have to use that. So we have to create that variable with so data table type. So data table variable, it can store that structured data. That means table type of data it will be stored. So right now from sample.xlsx file, so itself from that sample.xlsx file, uh, and in that sample.xlsx file, it contains that sheet 2. Okay, from sheet 2 itself, I'm reading that so table type of data. Excel in the sense always it is a table type of data. So output is also here. So that's why must be table type of uh, so that's why we have to create that variable also data table type. Data table variable, it will be stores the table type of data. Right now, I want to create the shortcut variable by using the shortcut Control K and var dt. It is the data table. So var dt is called as a data table. Var dt is called as a data table. Then go to the variable panel. See main scope. Observe this one. After reading the data, it is storing the data d- in data table variable. Output property is the data table variable. That data directly I wants to write in so another sheet. Okay, that is called as so sheet 3. Right now I want to take that activity is called as write range is the activity. So there are two write range activities. One is called as so Excel write range and another one is called as workbook write range. Say observe this one. So workbook write range is having that workbook path, but Excel write range don't have the workbook path. So right now remove this one. Just I want to select that see sample file and then click on that open. Click on that open. Right now, see, go to the properties. In this properties, I want to write the data in sheet 3. I want to write the data in sheet 3, in sheet 3 from A1 cell itself. See, read range. See, observe this read range. So by using that read range, I'm reading the data from sheet 2. That data already stored in data table. So see, that data is already stored in data table. It is the output property. Okay, this output property is the input to write range activity. Go to the properties, go to the properties, and then here var dt. Here var dt, right? Observe this one. Here, I want to enable this add headers. Otherwise, it will be miss that headers. Okay, right now, I want to execute this one. See, these are the workbook related activities. So that's why without opening that Excel file, it will be read and write the data. So right now, sorry, click here, run the file. Successfully re read the data from sheet 2 and written in sheet 3. See, I want to check it whether it is successfully written or not. See, open this Excel file. Observe this one. Sheet 1 having the 10 rows of data. The same data just I have written in sheet 3. Observe this one. Same data along with headers. Okay. See. Observe this one. These are the workbook related activities. So we are very frequently using that workbook related activities because in case in your machine, your Excel is having that any say if your Excel is corrupted, Excel file is corrupted also, you can read and write the data from that Excel file itself. In case if you have any issue with the MS Excel in your machine also, don't have any issue to work with workbook related activities. So that's why we are very frequently using this workbook related activities. Okay, right now I want to show you how to find the number of rows, how to find the number of rows and columns in that Excel file. Okay, observe this one. See, find number of rows and columns. Okay, click on that save. Just I want to remove this one. Actually, I have one Excel file. My Excel file, so I have a large amount of data. I don't know how many number of rows. I don't know how many number of columns. See, my client is saying that, so, so just we have to already one Excel file is available, and then in that Excel file we have a large amount of data. See, just you have to write the data again, new data. You have to update it from that end of the row itself. Okay, in that Excel file. At that time, See, first of all, we have to find that how many number of rows of data is available in the Excel file. Okay, sometimes it may be having that 1000 rows of data, sometimes 1 lakh rows of data, sometimes 5 lakhs rows of data. We don't know what exactly. This time, see how can you identify that number of rows in that Excel file, and how can you find that number of columns. Sometimes we'll get that so 100 columns, sometimes we'll get the 250 columns. At this time, I have to add one extra column from that end of the column itself. So this time, I have first of all I have to find how many number of columns in that Excel, right? So this time, see, I will show you how to find this number of rows and columns. See, in sample.xlsx file, see in that sheet 2, I have a data. I don't know how many number of rows. First of all, by using that read range activity, I will read the data. So I will read data. So complete Excel data and store it in var.dt. var.dt is called as a data table, right? So right now, observe this. I want to drag a message box, drag a message box. See right now, find number of rows. See, my data table contains whatever that read range, output property. This is the data table, right? This data table contains the number of rows. Okay. Data table dot rows dot count dot toString, because it will be written that integer value. That integer value, if you wants to so display with this message, at that time you must be convert into string type. So that's why var.dt dot rows dot count dot toString. Okay. See, observe this one. See right now, I want to drag one more message box. Find number of columns plus same. Okay, var.dt dot var.dt dot columns dot count dot toString. Observe this one. How many number of rows and how many number of columns. Okay. See, click on this debug. The number of rows is called as 10. Number of columns is called as 3. Okay. Okay. See, I want to open my Excel file. See, in the sheet 2, as per this Excel, how many number of rows here? Here we have 11 rows. Okay. But my bot is, once if I execute this process, it is saying that so 10 rows. Okay. But in Excel, it is showing that 11 rows, right? And columns, see, 3 columns. So see, this is the A. This is the first column, second column, and then third column. Observe this one. So in our read range activity, in this one, add headers, this checkbox is enabled. So add headers checkbox is enabled. So that's why my bot never count that first one. So always my bot, it will treat like first row, it will a, the first row always be a header. Okay, always be a header. So that's why it never counts. It never counts that first row. Okay, the counting will be starts from second row itself. Okay, so that's why it is showing, it is saying that 10 rows. Okay, 10 rows. Observe this one. Right now, so here I want to remove this checkbox. What are the application already open that I want to close it? Click on the table. Right now, what it will say? It is saying that 11 rows, 3 columns. In the read range, in this property, the read range properties, if I enable this add headers, add headers, okay, right now it will be return that number of rows is 10. It will return that number of rows is 10 and columns is 3. Observe this one. See, just I want to open this Excel file. See, there is the Excel contains the 10 rows of data, right? See, this data we are reading by using that read range activity, and after that we are storing the data in data table. Okay, where dt. Observe this one. See, up to that Excel, once the data is in Excel, see, row index will be starts from 1, 2, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Once the data in Excel file, once the data in that Excel file, so the row index will be starts from 1. Okay. See, column index will be A, B, C, like that. These are the column indexes. But once the data is stored in that, once the data is stored in that data table, after reading the data from so Excel itself, once if it is stored the data in data table, that means read range output property. Then, so see, a row index and then column indexes will be changes. I will show you right now. See, for example, observe this one. So right now it is the table. student number, as name, as total. Okay. Then 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107. Okay. So in rest of the columns, I'm not taking the data. Okay. See, observe this one. See, whatever the data, so is stored in the data table. See, this time, see, row index and column indexes will be changes here. Observe this one. See, see, column index always starts from 0, ends with n minus 1, ends with n minus 1. Actually, how many number of columns here? 3 columns. See, first column index is called as 0, 0th column. Second column index is called as 1, and third column index is called as 2. But if you go to that Excel file, the column index is called as A, B, C, like that. But once the data is stored in data table, so here completely change, because whatever the Excel data is there, that data logically we are storing into that variable. This time, that is the data table variable, we can store that structured data. This time, so the column index will be starts from 0, ends with n minus 1. Okay, how many number of columns? Basically 3 columns. So first column index will be start from 0, and then second column is called as 1, index is called as 1, and third column index is called as 2. In the same way, row index is also starts from 0, ends with n minus 1. So right now, I will show you. See, here I have basically 7 rows. See, first column, first row index is 0, and then second row index is 1. Okay, observe this one. See, here the row index will be starts from 0, and row index will row index is also starts from 0, ends with n minus 1. Here we have 7 rows, and then row index is starting with 0 and n minus 1. So that's why, see, row index will be starts from 0, ends with n minus 1. So that's why last one is called as, so 6. Okay, 0th row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, like that. Okay, this one we must be reminded. Okay, this one we must be reminded. Right now, just I want to close this screen. See, here I have a sixth row. In the sixth row, see, in third column, I have a value 87. I want to get this one. See, observe this one. As per this Excel, the column index is, sorry, the column index is called as A, B, and C. But this data I am storing in the data table. So that's why, as per the data table, first column index is 0, second column index is 1, third column index is called as 2, because column index starts from 0 and ends with n minus 1. So that's why. See, in the same way, row index will be start from here itself. Okay. See here, in Excel point of view, first row is called as header. It it never count it. So see, our bot counting starts from here itself. See, See, first row index is called as 0, second row index is called as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 0 to 9. See, actually, I want to take that. So, see, 106, this candidate data. So, this candidate total only I want to retrieve it. This time, what exactly the row index as per the data table point of view? The data table point of view, see, observe this one. 0th row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. Row index is called as 5 and then column index is called as 2. Just I will show you. Exactly, I will get that 87. Observe this one. I'll close it. Read from data table. Go to the properties. Plus data table dot rows of 5 dot item in the sense column, item of 2. Okay, dot to string. Click on that. Okay, click on the table. Observe this one. Exactly 87 will be retrieved from that data table itself. So what are that exact value? 87. I have so retrieved from that data table itself. Okay. Do you have any queries?